Well, you're welcome back. Of course, as we told you earlier, it's time to talk about Lagos traffic. Well, with a population of more than 20 million people, Lagos is the most populous state and city on the continent of Africa.
Yes, indeed. And as the economic heart of Nigeria, people come in droves into the state daily to better their chances of earning a living. Now, this development is straining the already tight resources available to the large population.
Well, Lagos, just as many other urban cities in the world, is prone to gridlocks. Well, if you look at your screen now, you see evidence of what we're talking about. Congestions on our roads due to population size and volume of vehicles that has, defied various measures adopted by government to address the situation.
Yes, indeed. Now, different administrations have invested hugely in the transportation sector in a bid to solve the traffic problem. From Lasma to Lagbos, Lamata, the BRT system, pedestrian bridges, bus stops, laybys, they were all created to ensure free flow of traffic, but so far the problem remains a basket case. Well, with us in the studio is the General Manager of the Lagos State Management Authority, Lasma, Olawale Musa. Good morning. It's good to see you.
Good morning.
The very first question then would be, why is it that all of the efforts that have been put in place so far to control traffic, to check traffic situation in Lagos, have all, fallen on their faces? They all seem to fail.
I won't agree that that's failed.
Okay.
I have so many success stories. You go to Baga, you go to Yanoworo. We have so many success stories. Even Aja, with the removal of those big roundabouts there, we have our success story. But the truth is, the more we do, the more we have to do. Because as Lagos get better, other people from other states see it and they come in. So more people come in as we do better, and that's going to put a strain on our infrastructure. So it's something that it's ceaseless. We have to continue doing it. We have to be innovative, and that is why each government at a particular state brings out a particular program, and when that seems to be exhausted, another comes in with another program. Like apart from what we have done, what this government have done, you talk about this bus system, this integrated transport system that is going to soon come up on board. The truth is, everybody in Lagos goes with their vehicle. You just go to Terminal B, for instance. You just see the driver and one man inside the vehicle, or one man alone driving the bus, driving a car. Those are the causes of congestion, because everybody wants to take their car to the office, and I don't blame
Isn't
people.
it because they're not alternative?
I said, I don't blame people. It's because we haven't gotten the transportation system right.
All right. Okay. Now, you made mention of the fact that, and as we also mentioned, you've had different solutions to trying to solve the problem. Lamata, Lagbos, and the rest of them. And as you also admitted, different administrations come up with different policies and all of that, which may be different from previous ones. Is there a way or a sense in which you can say that the change in these approaches have helped, or is there a way that they haven't helped in trying to solve the situation on ground?
And what I said was, at a particular time, you tackle the problem with a particular solution. Then more people come in. That particular solution ceases to work.
So the solutions that we are using at the moment, in your view,
now,
you are the GM of Lasma,
it's going
how effective?
Well, let me tell you, what we are doing is, we want to stop people from carrying their vehicles on the road. You and I will go abroad, we enter bus, okay? So by the time we stop a lot of people, that we encourage a lot of people to take our buses, then by then, many of these vehicles will be in the house.
Now, what is the number? What is the number?
I'm glad you used the word
encourage.
How do you encourage people if there are no decent
That
means,
is the encouragement.
Decent alternative means
that is the encouragement.
When
we are providing a decent means of transportation, okay, that's the encouragement we are talking about. Like, you just want to, like, if I travel abroad, I want to enjoy the transport system. I want to enjoy the trains.
Of course, we saw the governor of Abia State, you know, who boarded train more recently in one of his trips outside. Yes. You just seem like just as a regular, passenger, no difference.
Regular Joe.
Yes. By the time all this in the integrated transport system come up, it doesn't even make sense for you to carry your vehicle.
Tell us about this integrated transport system you're talking about.
Now, what we're trying to do is that, you know, the different modes of transportation, the rail, the road, and the train. Okay. Now, the train, we all know is coming from Okoko down to Marina and that. If you go to Yanowuru now, you see what is being done there. You want to encourage people, you carry your car, drop it at Yanowuru. Just take water transportation to the island. If coming back, you know, that's why we call it integrated, because everything is linked together. Okay, so it's something that
how soon is it going to take off?
Let me tell you, whether we like it or not, transport system is big investment and it takes time. Absolutely, it takes time. Now, rail system is the greatest one that takes a lot of time because it involves a lot of things. You know, when you just construct road, you just put asphalt. You can start passing on the road. But rail is not like that. You have to create the road, you put the rails, you provide the electricity, you now talk of the ticketing system. It involves a lot of things. So
but it seems to be public sector driven and not
that's
private sector driven as it should be.
I'm not in that position to go into details, but I know there's something being done around that, and very soon it's going to come to fruition.
All right, sorry. That's something that, let me just quickly throw this in before it skips my mind. Chris Olakwe, the CEO of LASMA, when he came on board, he said there was going to be massive use of technology, that, you know, technology-driven traffic management system, you know, would be in place. How far have you gone with that?
You see, everything works together. Now, you put technology, you have to power it. Okay, that's the truth. You have to power it.
So there is a sense in which there must be constant
there's a limit to what you can do with technology because you just have to power it. And we haven't gotten there yet. So, we just passed this electricity bill that's for the state. It's something that is ongoing, it's an ongoing process. You see, our problem, why do we have to impound vehicles physically? You be the traffic light. You have to impound your vehicle physically. You don't have the technology. What we need to do is take your photograph, send it to your house. You pay, whether you pay or you don't pay, we know how to get you. But we haven't gotten there yet, you know, but it involves, everything is related.
All right. You talked about encouraging people to use alternative means of transportation. Are there plans by the state government, as it were, to get more of the buses on the roads? Because you must agree we don't have enough of them.
That's the truth. We have a number of buses that are coming upstream this year. The terminals for those buses are being constructed. As I tell you, just
like how many?
I can't go into details, but I know it's a lot. I can't go into details. You know, we have to start gradually. We have to have test cases. We are going to see failures, correct them before we go full. So it's something we are going to do gradually because this has been done before. It hasn't worked very well. You've seen the failures. So we want to test cases so that when we go full-fledged, we are not going to see failure. So it's going to be a very, very successful program because what is being put on ground, I wish you could come to LASMA yard. That's just behind the LASMA office there. Come and see the bus terminal, very, very big. I can tell you the biggest in West Africa, very, very big. And we are putting all things on ground. What we've seen that we didn't do right the first time, that's what we are doing first before we now bring those buses.
Let's talk about some of the measures that Lagos State government, I mean, some really innovative, measures too, like the lay-bys, for example. In spite of the lay-bys being in, different places in Lagos, you still find this bottleneck. Take the K2, area, for example, the K2 Mile 12 axis. The lay-by is there. It's just been constructed, just been built and, commissioned. And yet you find those downfall drivers stopping right in the middle of the road to pick passengers and drop off
passengers as well.
What exactly is happening? And just some 200 meters, you find LASMA officials, just maybe on the phone or just having discussions, totally oblivious of what's going on.
Have you ever tried to hold those downfall drivers? Look, the truth is, it's a two-way thing. Somebody is not staying at the bus stop to enter buses. Some people, they would rather stay on the road. So, and the downfall driver will naturally go to where we pick passengers. That's the truth. It's a two-way thing. So, it's just like the chicken and the egg stuff. Is it the downfall drivers or we, the people?
Is it not because LASMA officials have been compromised?
No, I don't agree with you. You see, when you have 4 LASMA officers,
yes,
naturally, any sane country, do you have to put people at bus stops? Any sane country, that's LASMA officials to be controlling. I've not seen it anywhere in the world where you have to put officers to align buses.
Isn't that why LASMA in the first place was set up? Because we seem to have a peculiar problem, and we must have peculiar ways of solving that problem.
Yeah, our peculiarity stems from our type of people. That's the truth. Stems from our type of people. Now, that bus that you see on the road, attempt to hold that bus. The one LASMA officer is fighting 18 passengers. That's the truth. It's the same people that encourage those bus drivers to be on the road.
So you're saying it's the people that LASMA officials have to contend with. Is it not because LASMA does not go the whole hog by ensuring that those traffic offenders, road users, motorists, downfall drivers, that they're actually punished for those infractions, and it acts as a deterrent to the next downfall driver?
Come to our yard. Our yards are filled up with vehicles, filled up that we have contravened. You see, the purpose of LASMA, and I keep repeating it, is to manage traffic. Okay, although by managing, when you have offenders, we pick them up. Okay, but our focus, I repeat again, our focus is to control traffic.
All right.
Now, when we have a people, let me tell you, when we have a people, when I say a people, both the drivers and the passengers inclusive, that have just decided that this is the way they want to behave. It becomes a real cause of problem for us. Look, if that driver stops and sees no passenger, he will go to where he will pick passengers. That is the solid truth.
Well, there have been instances that attempts by your men to apprehend these guys who flout your rules led to death of some conductors and all of that. But beyond that, what exactly? We know that challenge exists. What other alternative measures do you have to solve or deal with the problem? Or are you just trying to say, look, because they are, passengers stay by the roadside, they have to, go to where the passengers are, so we leave them like that?
Is helpless?
No, that's why we are coming out with this program. We are just taking those buses off the road. Those yellow buses, they are leaving the road. That's because we hold meetings with them.
Okay. But it's not the first time we're hearing that. Was it not last year that the governor came out and said,
that's why I said,
we're taking the buses out,
not doing it
only for him to almost retract that statement?
No. What we are doing, like that,
some say the political will is not there.
No. I said it from the beginning.
Yeah.
We've done this thing before. We didn't get it right. What was not done, why it didn't really work, we have seen it. And that's why we are putting on ground first before those buses go off the road.
So what has been, when you had your meetings with perhaps the stakeholders within that sector, what was their own reaction to what the government is trying to do?
Look, whether you like it or not, it's a problem to all of us, even the bus drivers themselves, because their turnaround time is reduced because of traffic. Okay, so it really affects them, the fuel they consume on the road. So it's something that affects everybody. So everybody is in agreement that something has to be done. We realize it. Let me tell you, when I was saying that last month, it's not like we are incapacitated. But the truth is, do you know how many of those boys are maimed daily? Last month, officers, just on Tuesday, a bus was picking passenger on the road, caused an accident. A last month officer that was just passing by. Naturally, when you see an accident, as a last month officer, you wait. What happened? They started pursuing him. That is the cause of the accident. Nobody knew what caused it. He saw that there was an accident and he stopped. And people started pursuing him. Our people, forgetting that somebody stopped on the road to pick passenger, caused an accident. Nobody was
now
pursuing
that you
that person.
mentioned the dangers faced by last mile officials, is there any kind of insurance that covers last mile officials that will take care of such
all
things?
civil servants, you know, last mile civil servants, all civil servants are insured.
Well covered. Okay, let's come back to this issue of complicity, possible complicity on the part of last mile officials. We have heard reports that many last mile officials themselves actually own many of those buses that you see on the road, and that's why your officers would not go, you know, to the extent that you would expect them to go in ensuring that traffic offenders, these downfall drivers, are really punished.
I've heard this so many times. Let me tell you, when I started in life,
yes,
I had a boss. Okay, I was driving a bus when I started in life. You understand? You as a person, you can have a boss. So I'm not saying that it might not happen, okay? Because of a system we have where anybody can just go on the road and buy a bus. And let me also tell you, that's your area of strength. Most likely, if you want to set up your own business, this is your area of strength. That's what you do. I've not seen a case where a last mile officer has a boss. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. But what I've seen is that, and it's been a problem that we had, is we post people to where it's very close to their house. And they will be there for like 10 years. Those bus drivers, they knew them when they were growing up. Like they were small then, but they now know them, they are now big boys, they are now driving buses. So they like know them, so they are like used to each other.
So familiarity becomes a problem.
Familiarity is a problem, and that's what we've been trying to do, that we'll start moving them around. But it's also a challenge, because if you take somebody away, far from where he lives, it's not going to get to his choke point, because they have to resume by 6, and he has to go through by public transport. Okay, has to resume by 6, so it's also a challenge.
I've had a situation when I was living in Ikorodu. There's this particular last mile official in last mile uniform, always waving, you know, me down, looking for a ride, of course. But my concern at that time of the morning, what if it's just, you know, some criminal, you know, that's looking for an opportunity to, you know, do harm.
All right, but
so why is it that last mile officials are not taken care of to that extent that they have to, you know, seek for help from the public?
No, that's his own choice. His own choice. Because why is he flagging that? He doesn't want to spend his money. Well, you know, we could say, okay, let's provide them with staff buses, but we are spread up to Ikorodu. How do we even move them? So it's a big deal. It's part of their salary. They have been paid transport allowance. So if he's doing it just to save his own money, so you see people doing it. I've seen an officer do it to me, not knowing I'm the GM. So I have to call him. You have just degraded my job. I just told you on the what you did. You degraded my job. We see people doing it.
Well, in some cities around the world, they are using now what we call smart traffic decision support system based on big data analytics. What measures, what system is your organization, you know, putting in place that is
technology driven?
Yes.
Yeah, like I said, technology involves a lot of things. 1, you have to have the routes. 2, you have to have the electricity to power that technology. 3, you have to have the wherewithal. That's everybody agrees that we want this thing to work. Now, what we are starting with is the automatic number plate recognition, ANPR. That you commit an offense on the road, you pick your plate number, we know where you are. By the time you come and register your offense, if we can't pick you then, by the time you come and register, you have to pay for that offense. No, it's a gradual process. Those people those technologies, they didn't get there
overnight.
It's a gradual process. So, and the challenge we have in Lagos is so many vehicles come from outside Lagos daily. So even when they commit offense, if they don't do it in Ogun State, they don't do it in Oyo State, you just pick them, they go back to their state, and you probably will never see them again, which is possible. So it's something that has to be global. But on our own part, okay, we know a lot of vehicles are registered with Lagos number plates, so we try to capture them when they commit offenses without pursuing them. But it's also a challenge.
All right. So what beyond these challenges we have mentioned, rising population, downfall drivers stopping by the roadside to pick up passengers and all of that, lack of power to help in bringing up new measures and all of that. What are the other challenges that you face as you try to control traffic in Lagos?
I always say 3 I's. Number 1, indiscipline. Indiscipline. Then inconsideration. Inconsideration.
For the other road user.
For the other road. Well, let me, and they are all related.
Yeah.
When we are disciplined, okay, when we are disciplined, we obey the rules. It's only in Nigeria where you see traffic lights, we power it. Those traffic lights you see, we power it. Buy batteries, so many sources of electricity to power it. People don't obey it. You have to put men there. 4 in some roundabouts like Allen, sometimes 5 men again to make sure that people obey it. We are wasting money. That's the truth. So
it's a real truth.
But sometimes it makes you ask, what kind of people are we?
Yes, because
we
it seems
some
to
of our people
reflect in
travel
every-
overseas. We travel overseas, and we're not reminded to obey the laws when we get there.
Absolutely.
Automatically.
So it's an environmental problem. And isn't it linked to the fact that you know at the back of your mind that even when you offend, whether it has to do with traffic or anything whatsoever, that there's, the possibility of you getting off the hook is there. Isn't that what the problem really is?
No, I won't say that, but I can tell you that the challenge is that, you see, I, as the GM of LASMA, I never passed BRT. I've never. The only time I passed it was to pursue a LASMA officer in uniform, but driving his private vehicle in BRT. I pursued him and I gave him his fine, which he paid 70,000. But you see people, they'll go and pass it. We pick them up. They now start running after big men to come and beg you. And the irony is this: that big man knows you, calls you, okay? You refuse to yield. You have offended him, not the person that flouted the law.
And the chances are you may lose your job.
No, I definitely
is that a
will not lose my
possibility?
job. No, I definitely will not lose my job because of that.
Okay, so let's come back to this. Look, when LASMA was set up, about 2000?
2012.
Oh.
2000, yes.
Yeah,
16
yeah,
years now,
2000.
18 years now.
Can you really say that you have made much difference when it comes to the traffic situation in Lagos? Number one, one of the mission statements of LASMA was that all traffic violators would be tried by mobile courts. Do we have mobile courts right now? Okay. That commercial bus operators must use designated bus stops or face the consequences. Tank farm owners. Let's talk about the Apapa gridlock. I mean, we will be remiss not to even mention the Apapa gridlock. That is a clear and present danger. It is a nightmare to not only Lagosians, to every Nigerian who has, at one time or the other, some kind of business to do in that part of the state. What exactly is happening with that? Then we'll come to the issue of articulated vehicles, where you actually came out with a time frame for them to move. But if you go out now to CMD, or the Express, of course, you'll find those articulated vehicles constituting a real menace.
You see that, Papa? When I think about it, I cover my face. As a Nigerian, okay, what's happening there is an aberration. It should not be happening in any single country. And that is a place where, do you know how much is being raked in from that place every day? It's an aberration. But we are, like I said, it's a society. We are not ashamed. We are not ashamed to see it happening and not do anything about it.
Like Yorubas would say, lojuti.
Honestly,
wow.
We are not ashamed.
Wow.
You see, now you put tank farms in the beginning. Why do we have those tank farms around our houses? Because of security. If you put it, this pipeline vandalism, everybody has to come to Lagos to pick fuel. They say, I keep using this example because I interviewed the driver of that vehicle. Because 12 hours gridlock, 14 hours gridlock, that's on Tomeland Bridge. That tanker was going to Shaki.
In Oyo State,
Shaki,
the extreme end of Oyo.
To come here to take fuel. It's an aberration. It shouldn't be happening. But you see, we are a country that we are, like I say again, we are not ashamed. Now, as an organization, we are constrained. We don't have control over what happens at the ports. Even as a state, we do not have control. What happens outside, yeah, we can control it. But when these vehicles cannot get access to the ports, what do? You see, we have a choice. Yes, we gave a time frame. But do you know what? We have two choices. It's either we shut down the economy of the state, the entire southwest, okay, or we start to manage what is happening. And that's why.
So what are the options? What are the options? Yeah, what are the options in such a way that you make the best of a bad situation? And
that is what we have been doing. Just January this year, one of our men was maimed in that Apapa again. You know that is in Apapa they killed one of our staff. You recall it, that was brutally killed. That people were taking photographs. When I look at it, I see people instead of helping were taking his photographs. Just January, yeah, one of our men. We just found him on the road. We didn't even know what happened to him. Okay, you see, this is the type of society we are. Now, the choice we have taken is, okay, let them come in. But we must allow other road users to have access to the port.
Musa Ola, GM LASMA, will have to say thank you very much for coming to talk about this with us. We do sympathize with you, but we hope that in ensuring that the right thing is done by road users, you guys go the whole hog, because it will make a lot of difference. We're not able to talk about the 6,000 Lagos spy policemen that the police talked about, you know, as a way of helping solve this problem. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right.
We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll have the news update for you and more to talk about on TVC Breakfast. Stick around.